Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today is February 23rd, 2021, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, FANG stocks and Microsoft sell off sharply, and after Bitcoin hitting record highs, selling off sharply as well. But first, looking at the major economic events of the day, out of the United States at 5 p.m. South African time, we have Fed Chairman Powell will be testifying in front of Congress in relation to his monetary policy. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the currencies, we're watching the dollar continue to weaken versus the major pairs, and in the indices, we're watching the NASDAQ remain weak while the Dow Jones remains strong. And looking at commodities, we're watching gold finally bounce above 1800, while oil gains as well. And looking at the stocks, rotation continues with Microsoft, FANG stocks, Amazon, and Tesla selling off sharply, while Bitcoin also sells off sharply. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. Now, those of you who have attended my daily review on a daily basis will know that I generally just am watching the GBP USD versus the dollar, as opposed to the Aussie versus the US dollar. And if we could see some of the other pairs as well that are gaining versus the US dollar, it's the Aussie dollar and the GBP. And this little, space here is where we need to fill to get back to this 2017 level, which we haven't seen in more than 4 years. Okay, interestingly enough, this was right after President Trump became president of the United States, and that rotation you see is happening again. As the dollar got stronger throughout the Trump administration, it's making a reversal going into the Biden administration. Interestingly enough, how that is being affected. Okay, now no one is stating this, but I'm highlighting this as well. Now, looking at the GBP, we're looking at a 4-hour chart. We do have a bona fide resistance at this 140.80-ish level. So just be aware that we're trading just so very carefully. But we're still, if we look at a 4-hour chart, of course, we're still above the 8-day moving average. So that remains strong, okay, as we head into this area. I'd be a little bit more cautious if I was on the long on the GBP. Maybe I would take off some right here, okay, in anticipation that it's going to continue trading sideways, at least for the interim, in the short term. Excuse me. Now, jumping into commodities, we're watching gold bounce above 1800 right now at 1813 after it hit this 1764-ish level. And that was a decent bounce. Okay, we're above the 8-day moving average, which is looking pretty generous. Now, looking at oil as well, trading at $62 a barrel as this is gaining back to its highs after selling off earlier on Friday, and then kind of rotating here on Monday, and then finally taking it higher. Now, there's still some optimism the markets will reopen going into next session. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, it is bouncing here, but it remains very weak, which are reflecting some of the high-tech stocks that are showing weakness vis-a-vis, if we look at the Dow Jones, it remains relatively strong here, okay? Trading at 31,563, only about less than 100 points, 50 points to 70 points from its all-time highs. Yes, is it gaining itself in this, how should we call it, this range, okay, this upper range at this 31,568? Yes. Is it consolidating around this area? Yes. Is it showing still strength in this area? Yes. Is it going to break higher? I don't know, okay? And the reason why I don't know is because we're seeing some mixed signals in the markets, okay? Some of the bank stocks are strong, but they're looking like they're topping out, okay? So this may be a point to really build yourself a position on the downside in the anticipation is going to make a correction on the downside. Now, looking at the individual stocks, this is where it gets really interesting, because if we look at Apple, look at that. 124 and getting weaker. If we look at Facebook, also 258 and getting weaker. Yes. Is it in the bottom of the range? Yes, it is. Amazon breaking lower to 31.77. It was a gap and go. Now, this is very important because we used to have a support level at this 32.52. Does that mean that we're going back down to 2000? Not so fast, but we are breaking down, okay? So we are showing some weakness in the high-tech sector. When we look at Microsoft also down, and this, remember, was the leader of the pack, okay? Microsoft was the strongest stock on the board, and now it's changing character, okay? So to say that we're going to make a major correction. I think people are anticipating it. However, do I have that signal clear yet? No. And this is why I don't, because when I look at JP Morgan, we're just off of our all-time highs by about 70 cents. Okay, so not major, okay, not a major difference right here. And if we look at Alcoa, it also remaining very strong to $24 a share. So a lot of mixed signals in the markets right now. So I want to get some clarity before I make a call, because when we look at the high-tech stocks, they're showing weakness. And that was what carried us, if you guys remember, throughout the beginning of last year summer, 2020 summer, into August. Okay, that was really the leader of the pack, saving our economy. Okay, saving a lot of the markets from really breaking down. So now those items are actually breaking down now. So is that a sign that the market's going to make a correction the next 3 to 4 months? Perhaps. Okay, so something for food for thought going into today and going into the next few months of trading. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.